Good afternoon. My name is Leslie Lovett. I'm the president of the Winthrop College Republicans.
I'm Ian Baird. I'm the treasurer with the College Republicans.
And today we have Mr. Tom Nichols with us today. He is running for State House representative seat in District 48, and glad to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Leslie. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to have you. Just starting off, what made you decide to run?
You know, that's a good question, and I would say that's probably the most important question to ask of myself or anybody that's running for an office. And I think that probably it starts the same with me that it does with everybody. That, you know, deep down in my heart, I want to do good. I want to leave things better off than I found them. And I think probably everybody has that same foundation down in their heart someplace. And I look around me in the community that I've been so blessed with. I see that it's in trouble. It needs some strong leadership. It could use help, in the form of strong leadership. And I sold my business in 2006. I had a really blessed business, and I sold it with the intention of doing volunteer work for the rest of my life. I wanted to mark my life's trail with good deeds, and there's nothing wrong with amassing a huge amount of money and, doing good works with that, but everybody just has to do what fits. To me, I'm more of a hands-on kind of a guy, and I just like to be involved in stuff, and I would like for my life to be marked and remembered by good works is what I would like to do. And as we look at the government situation, what we have is a lot of people that are been in politics for their whole life or for a real long time in their career, and I believe that's a lot of the problem with the issues that we have. Typically, the governmental type of solution to a problem is just to throw more money at it, whereas a businessman will take an issue or a problem and we'll try to understand what the problem is and figure out how to fix it and then go on from there. And I think that's what I offer. I've got confidence that I've got the business experience to do this job effectively through that.
Now, what issues are most important to you?
Probably if I had to focus on just one issue, but it would be a really difficult one, is the educational system, the public education system throughout our state. Now, that is a very complex issue, but we could start by getting rid of the Common Core curriculum. To totally fix it, it would be great if we could just have a divorce from the Department of Education. That's really the only way that we're ever going to really repair and completely fix our education system. But if I had one thing that I could fix, it would be the public school system. We need all of our kids, when they get out of school and receive a diploma, we need for them to have the basic skills that they need to hold down a job. And I have experience with hiring people that have graduated from high school that are not able to do basic math with multiplication and that type thing. So that's what opened my eyes to some of the deficiencies that we have in the education system.
In talking about you being a businessman and owning a business, how will that kind of experience transition into representing District 48?
I think that's the key to what I can bring to this race that will help it a lot. The first thing I I opened a business up in 1988, and I sold it in 2006. Like I said, the Lord really blessed me with it, and I didn't need finances anymore, and I decided to do volunteer-related type work. But during the course of that business, Central Piedmont Community College up in Charlotte invited me to be on their advisory board and help them set up a program for small businesses up in Charlotte and develop them. So that's one thing that my business experience will bring quickly. I don't think I'll have any resistance in trying to set up that same program here in York County through York Tech. Now, also, a businessman looks at things in a way that you try to understand what the problem is, and then you go about fixing it. So that's just the general philosophy. And the best example, and you've probably never heard this, I might be the only person to even notice this, but like when Donald Trump, first became the president, and you remember the Air Force One, as soon as he got there, he renegotiated the contract on Air Force One. It saved us $1 billion. Well, big deal. What's $1 billion compared to $20 trillion that the United States owes and the amount of money we spend. But that's a businessman's philosophy. He came across a problem, he encountered waste, and no matter how small it was, he got rid of it, he fixed it. And that's the way that a businessman will look at stuff. And if you'll just keep chipping away at waste and problems wherever you encounter them, even no matter how small they are, they'll eventually mount up, and the ship will get straightened up and start sailing through the waters properly.
Now, Mr. Nichols, you're running against someone who has a lot of name recognition in this area. How do you plan on getting your name out there?
That's a challenge, and it even goes deeper than that. To begin with, what I'm doing, to answer your question, I'm going around to all the voters, and actually today I basically finished going through every voter in House 48 district that's on the strong voter list that I got from the state, and just introducing myself to them, giving them a little card that has my website on it. But what I was getting around to is the problem's even deeper than the name recognition. Most people aren't even aware that there's a race for the state house taking place. So that's the first thing I got to do, is make people even aware that there is a race taking place. But to answer your question, what I'm doing to educate people about the race and about myself is I am doing the door-to-door stuff. I've got 2 mailers that I've sent out telling people about who I am and what the race is about. And today I started radio commercials, which you can hear them on 104.1, the Christian radio station out of Rock Hill, as well as WRHI.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Going past that a little bit, something a little more personal. What would be your message to young voters?
That's a good question too. My message to young voters would be that we are a group. We're one group of people, and that's different than what you get from the government in a lot of ways. They want to put this group over on this hill, this group over on that hill, this one over on the other hill. But what I'm saying is, and I'm talking about age-wise now, we're all one group, and as things go up, everybody goes up. If things go down, everybody goes down. My plan, I've already mentioned to you about how I can help the small business community, and that is the backbone of the financial system in everywhere that you go. So that's going to create a broad-based economic advantage. It's going to create jobs for everybody. And as that goes up, there will be jobs that will be available to the college students that are graduating here. That will take people off of welfare type programs and put them into the tax base where they're actually contributing. And just a little side note on that, the best thing about taking somebody off of welfare and getting them into a work is the self-esteem that individual gets. It's good for us that we will get tax relief and that they will get a check. But the main thing out of that is that the man can be proud of himself. When he comes home on Friday and he's got his paycheck that he went and worked for, there's pride in that. So that will help them get their self-esteem back.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Nichols, could you tell us something about yourself that many don't know?
Yeah. As I go about this political endeavor, people have told me that you smile too much. And so that is my natural demeanor, that I'm always smiling and I'm happy, and people tell me, well, you can't smile all the time. You got to have a little bit of a stern face and be serious about things. So hopefully as you guys encounter me in my profession and in this office, I'll have a little bit of a stern face, but you can just know that behind the stern face, I'm smiling and happy.
That's good. Thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Nichols.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
the opportunity.
Thank you so much.